Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, and you can see a very aesthetic buildings of the university. Just brief about our university. So, about half the regions of Punjab is in our jurisdiction as far as technical institutes are concerned. So, we have 51 affiliated colleges and 5 constituent colleges under our jurisdiction. So, recently we got accreditation from NAC, and we have area ranking 4, member of AIU. So, this is our administrative block. Yeah. So more pics of library departments, university gate. So we offer different programs in different departments of the university. We have 5 constituent colleges at Moga, Rajpura, Nantgarh, Patiala, and um, Mansa. Yeah, I just want to start with diabetes. So, this prevalent disease is very common among population, and we may find our relatives as well as we know many people who are suffering from diabetes. With high prevalence of this disease, so it is worth to talk about diabetes, its symptoms, and how we can manage this disorder. You can see the slides now.
जी सर.
Okay. So a very prevalent disorder in India, and our population now has overtaken China. So diabetic population is highest in the world in India. As our diabetic population is very number is very high, so our country is also spending a huge money in order to maintain and cure the patients suffering from this disorder. This is one report from WHO. Talking about diabetes, so we have 3 kinds of diabetes. One is type 1, and it is insulin dependent. So in type 1, pancreas is an organ in our body which produces insulin. We have beta cells in pancreas, and they are responsible for making insulin. And the role of insulin is it removes glucose from blood. And you know the importance of glucose because our body requires energy to perform any kind of function. Glucose is very much required. Uh, want to you want to walk or you perform any function. So glucose is it's a cellular fuel. So whatever we eat, for example, we eat carbohydrate. So carbohydrate it is eventually broken down by enzymatic system in our body, and it makes glucose, and this glucose is absorbed from the small intestines, and it goes to our blood. So insulin present, which is secreted by pancreas, it is required for the removal of glucose in from our body to various our organs, muscles, tissues. So people suffering from type 1 diabetes, they are not able to they don't have sufficient insulin in their body. Their pancreas or some kind of disorder uh, happens. So they require insulin from outside source. So sometimes you can see people uh, injecting insulin prior to consuming their food. Then we have type 2 diabetes. So it is not non-insulin dependent. That means their body is producing sufficient insulin, but there is some issue with the removal of glucose to muscles. Maybe uh, the sensitivity of receptors on muscles, they might be impaired. So it is just like key and log hypothesis. So key is insulin, but this insulin is not able to open the lock of muscles. So that because glucose is not able to be removed from the blood. So it the concentration of this glucose remains very high. So type 2 diabetes is very prevalent among the population, and we can see people that they don't have any problem in their childhood, but they have diabetes in their adulthood or when they grow old. So this is very common among population. Then we have type 3 diabetes. It is gestational diabetes, and it is very common among ladies during their pregnancy. But after pregnancy, uh, they recover from diabetes. Now we have various symptoms of diabetes, but I caution you not to look these symptoms, because if you look at these symptoms, you may find one or two. So don't look at these symptoms. So people they who suffer from diabetes may have a problem of excessive urination, or they they are more thirsty, or they feel like more hunger. So these are few common symptoms of diabetes. So sometimes I have problem in moving the slides, so please bear with me. You can see slides. Slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So this slide shows you the blood testing. So efficient method of testing whether a person is diabetic or not is go for blood test and look at the glucose concentration in blood. So concentration is measured in terms of milligram per deciliter. And if fasting plasma glucose is less than 110 milligram per deciliter, then we say that a person is normal, and he or she don't have diabetes. But if the concentration of glucose is in the range between 110 to 126 milligram per deciliter, uh, this comes under pre-diabetic, uh, condition. And if more than 126 milligram per deciliter, then a person is diabetic. So one should definitely go for blood glucose testing after a certain age, probably more than 30, and I believe we all are more than 30. So more effective method of testing glucose is to go for 3 month average test, that is glucosylated hemoglobin, and if it is more than 7%, then a person is diabetic. And also, postprandial glucose, that means food testing glucose after meal. So if it is more than 200 milligram per deciliter, that also is a condition of diabetic. So this is just to sum up that I have discussed. So this 3-month average test, if it is in the range between 4 to 5.9%, it's normal range. Pre-diabetic condition is 6 to 7%, and more than 7% is diabetic. The problem with diabetic is, sometimes it becomes life-threatening, and we say this disease is silent killer because over the period of time, many kind of abnormal conditions they happen in our body. So first, that prominent site to be affected by diabetes is eyes. So another is kidney. Kidneys are very important because in order to remove glucose from the blood, which the body is not able to remove while a person is diabetic, so kidneys they have to work more. So they have to flush glucose out of the system. So the route is through kidneys. So kidneys they have to work more and more, and in order in this process, they get over exhausted and sometimes they failure. And also, the person with diabetic they have more kind of fungal kind of infections in their urinary tract. So one should look at also these conditions. Heart is also a very prominent organ which can be affected with diabetic. And also, under some severe circumstances, brain stroke may happen because of this disease. So this is a very life-threatening disease, a very common lifestyle disorder, but life-threatening. So having said this, so we need to control diabetes. So risk factors, I have told you, if one should look at family history because genetics they play a very prominent role as far as diabetes is concerned. Obesity is also very important. So people from physical education they must uh, understand, this uh, muscle to muscle to lean and muscle ratios, and also muscle lean and fat ratios, and also basal metabolic rate, and one should look at BMI, uh, and those with obesity and other more overweight people, they should try to manage their weight. Hypertension is also very common. So hypertension, this is also a very common problem. Those with diabetes also sometimes they do have hypertension also. Those with hypertension they develop diabetes later on. Age above 30 years, one should go for regular testing at least once in a year and look at monitor, if there is any change in blood glucose level. So if there is any change, lifestyle modifications can be helpful. Smoking and alcohol consumption also increase the risk of developing diabetes. Stress, I think this is very, very important as far as conditions nowadays. So when a person is in stress, so our body is very it's a very robust kind of they have body is having a very robust system. So during stress, hormones they are triggered, and these hormones they are triggered because they our body want to cope up with stressful conditions. You can just imagine when you go to some cinema theater and it is very dark and you can't see for some few seconds, but after few seconds you are able to see people sitting because our body has very miraculous system of adaptability. So it adapts to the changing environmental conditions. So during stressful conditions, body uh, releases certain kinds of hormones, and these hormones they protect our vital organs from any damage. So one hormone, just to name one, cortisol. It's a very prominent hormone, and it is released when there is any stressful conditions. But excessive release of cortisol also damages our delicate balance, and it eventually leads to certain conditions like high blood pressure, we say it's hypertension, or diabetes, or more such conditions. So stress is very important. One should try to manage stress, at least at home and at workplaces. Sedentary lifestyle also needs to be stressed upon because we can see uh, our lifestyle is becoming more and more sedentary. We don't want to walk, or we don't want to exercise. Rather, rather going to very short distances, we prefer motorbike or car. So sedentary lifestyle is also imparting to you know its share for lifestyle disorder diseases like uh, diabetes or hypertension. Yeah. So what we need to do, we go for lifestyle modifications, exercise. I think exercise. Dr. Amandeep will tell you better than me. Diet management, and if these don't serve purpose, then we need to go for oral medication. We need to check our diabetes, and if its levels are high, then definitely we should consult some doctor. Diet management is also very important. We should avoid deep fried foods, very sweet foods. I need to tell you because in the last 20 years, uh, food technologists or food scientists they have stressed upon eating less fat. And in processed food, what we did is we have replaced fat with sugars. We have replaced fat, and in order to make the desired texture of food, sugars have been incorporated. And you can see the package: high fructose corn syrup, this much amount. So this has eventually led to a very uh, this has increased the risk of diabetes. Those who preferred packaged food more. And also, I tell you that glucose. This juices what you drink. It is what companies do. They they make concentrate from juices, and because they have to run their factories throughout the year. And what they do is they again reconstitute, concentrate back to juices, and also in this process, a lot of sugar syrup they add. So you drink juice because you want to maintain your health, but eventually you are drinking sugar syrups. So one should be cautious. So as far as natural food, natural juices, which you can crush at home, that will be more beneficial. So one should also consume more fiber-rich foods. So fibers they are very very important. So I can emphasize more on fibers because uh, what fibers do is we have two kinds of fibers. One is soluble fiber and one is insoluble fiber. Both have their very important role in our body. So what soluble fiber do is because in blood we may have high concentration of cholesterol. Cholesterol is also very important, component that needs to be stressed upon. So not a talk of topic today, but I can have a few minutes on cholesterol. So when we eat the food which is very high in cholesterol, So the cholesterol level in our body, it raises. But I caution you that cholesterol is very, very important in our body because it's a part of our cellular, metabolism. But we have, two kinds of cholesterol. One is LDL and one is HDL. LDL is low density lipoprotein and HDL is high density lipoprotein. Both have difference. Both are kind of cholesterol, but they have difference in their densities. Low density, this lipoprotein, it has a nature to settle down, and in this process, it clogs our arteries. But high density lipoprotein, they don't settle down, and they have an important function of providing calories to our body as well as other metabolic functions. So, uh, in relation to fiber, the soluble fibers in our diet, they binds with high level of cholesterol in our blood, and in this process, this cholesterol they are removed from our system to our feces. So this is the function of soluble fiber, and as far as insoluble fiber is concerned, they are also very, very important. So what insoluble fiber do? They are not digested in our small intestine. Rather, they go to large intestine, and in our large intestine we have a wide range of microflora. And I tell you, the if you know in terms of numbers, the microflora is more than the cells in our body. So they live in colonies like lactobacilli, bifidobacteria. So they reside in large intestine, and what food, what kind of food they are getting? Those which is not uh, digested by small intestines. So fibers is their food, and they consume fiber, and they produce short chain fatty acids. Primarily butyric acids, propionates. These are short chain fatty acids, and they are very, very important as far as prevention from colon cancer is concerned. That I will take up maybe later in my slides. We should divide our meal into 3 4 parts and try to eat less, because we also need to know the nature of food. You know, Indian diet is very rich in carbohydrates. If you see your diet since morning to night, you will find lots of chapatis and rice and potatoes, and sometimes fried foods. So these all are contributing to elevation of the metabolism of your body, uh, and how much fast this glucose is released into blood system is very, very important. So alcohol should be avoided, and beverages I have told you, sugar-rich beverages, and one should quit smoking. Dr. Amandi will tell you more about exercise, that how we should exercise, how much time, and endurance exercises, or uh, those aerobics that Dr. Amandi will take up, I believe, some lectures. So if from diet and exercise you are not able to manage, then uh, then you go for then you consult some doctor and start your medications. Sometimes I feel difficulty in moving my slides. Yeah. So when you consume any carbohydrate rich food, if it is digested within 20 minutes, we say it is a rapidly digestible food, and it comes under the category of rapid digestion. And those carbohydrates which are not digested between 20 to 120 minutes, we say it is slow digestible. And those which are not digested within 120 minutes, we say it is resistant to digestion. So if you look at food primarily, if we talk about wheat or rice, about 70%, 100 per 100 gram, about 70% is starch. Starch is a kind of carbohydrate. So primarily our food is rich in starch. Our cereals and potatoes, they are very rich in starch. So this starch, if you look at chemical composition, it is a glucose chains. They are eventually forming a starch molecule, and in our body, because of enzymatic system, this starch is broken down into glucose. So how fast our enzymatic system is breaking down the starch molecule will eventually raise the blood glucose level. If our enzymatic system is breaking starch molecules very fast, so glucose more will be this rapid starch. And if it is if it is breaking down it in 120 to 120 minutes, so we say it's a slow digestion starch. This slow digestion is very important from athletes. And I have read few literature, and foreign countries who are performing very well in Asian or Olympic games, they are focusing more on the slow digestion category of food, because we say it's a sustained release. Slowly, energy is released, and which is not digested within 120 minutes. It is a resistant starch, and they become food for microflora residing in our large intestine that I have just told you. This is some part of my research, just to tell you that in order to calculate glycemic index, we calculate the starch hydrolysis pattern. And I have just this slide just shows you various legumes. Yeah, we say dals available. So how they're how they are hydrolyzing. So the lower is enough, the more is resistant starch, less is rapidly digestible starch. So moong starch is very rapidly digestible. Less is having it has less content of RS. But if you look at this pigeon pea, so it has more RS starch. Then this is why that you need time to digest pigeon pea as compared to moong bean starch. We need to know about glycemic index. So I have told you that how fast these carbohydrates they are broken down in our body in order to release glucose is calculated by glycemic index. So glycemic index nowadays is a very essential tool for planning diets of diabetic patients. You may find glycemic index from anywhere from Google, and those foods whose glycemic index is very high should be avoided for diabetic patients. So you can just have a look you can just scroll, search Google for glycemic index of various foods. So this is also I just compared with corn starch with these are mango starches, mango kernel starches. So they were very high, very resistant in nature as compared to this corn. Not to your concern, just yeah. This I have compared glycemic index with corn with various legumes. You see, glycemic index of cereals they are very high. I'm not shown the data for rice. If I have shown the data for rice, the rice glycemic index is more higher than corn, maybe in 80s, 80%. So this patients with diabetes, sometimes doctor don't recommend them eating white rice. And the rice what we are eating is it is polished rice. We have removed the bran portion from the rice grain, so it contains less of minerals. So sometimes not suggested by doctors to eat rice to diabetic persons. Categorizing resistant starches into various categories. So we have different categories. So just to tell you, in a layman language, so we should try to eat, we should try to eat roasted dals, roasted, legumes, because they will have definitely will have more resistant starch content as compared to the, those legumes which have been cooked, because cooking increases digestibility and it reduces the resistant carbohydrate content. One important thing is retrograded starch. So we have seen that when you cook food and when you place it in refrigerated, and if you go for multiple times, uh, so this resistant carbohydrate content increases. So why it is increasing is one minute. Yeah. So in starchy foods we have amylose and amylopectin chains, and when we cook food, these chains they goes into solution, and upon cooling they again try to realign themselves. So in order to when they go for realignment, so crystalline structure it increases. So that is the, and crystalline structure, they are more resistant to enzymatic digestion. Enzymes, they are present in our body for digestion. So we should go for, if at all we want to eat potatoes, we should go for cooked and cooled potatoes. One, we should cook potato. We should cook, and then we should place that potatoes in the refrigerator for maybe for a few hours. And if you again uh, remove those potatoes from refrigerator, bring it to room temperature, and if you consume, uh, the digestion quotient will definitely decrease, because the crystalline pattern will increase. So same is case with rice. Cooking and cooling, cooked and cooled rice definitely will have high resistant carbohydrate content as compared to cooked rice alone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
टॉप-
sir.
टॉपिक बहुत बोरिंग तो नहीं है?
No, sir.
ओके.
No, sir. No, sir.
Quite informative, sir. Carry on, please.
या थैंक यू जी.
आजकल तो सर हर थर्ड पर्सन को डायबिटीज है तो बहुत रिक्वायर्ड है सो इस तरह की इन्फॉर्मेशन.
हाँ जी, तदे मैं दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव चोजन दिस टॉपिक.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी. थैंक यू सर.
सो वी शुड अवॉइड ये सबको पता ही है, ऑल नोज, हाई सॉल्टी फूड्स वी शुड अवॉइड, हाई शुगर फूड, हाई इन फैट. या वन important component of our diet is bread, and खासकर white bread. We should avoid white bread, और जो ब्राउन ब्रेड है वो भी कोई अच्छी नहीं है. तो अगर ब्रेड we can avoid, definitely we should avoid it from our diet. So majority of us eat white rice. We don't go for eating brown rice, because कि जो उसका टेस्ट है वो ज़्यादातर लोगों को acceptable नहीं. But white rice is should definitely be avoided because of its high glycemic index. So we should look at glycemic foods and try to avoid those foods. Fruit juices, if they are not natural. Soft drinks, artificial sweeteners, they should be avoided. Uh, just want to show you some foods which have, because of their some chemical components, they have been shown for some, beneficial effects for prevention or management of diabetes. Bitter gourd is one example. You might have heard of this because uh, one polypeptide named gourmarin, the composition is similar to insulin. So that is why it has shown some beneficial effect for management of diabetes. Then we have methi, fenugreek. So it is very rich in flavonoids, saponins, and other chemical components. So it lowers cholesterol. In general, it has a good health promoting effect. So it should be consumed in our diet. Then we have jamun, Indian blackberry. So very important for conversion of uh, how fast this starts converting to sugars. So unfortunately, jamun season is very short. So otherwise, it is very beneficial for diabetes. Then we have zinc. It is very rich in potassium. Sorry, garlic. It is rich in potassium. uh, Potassium is very important because in our diet we consume lot of sodium, but consumption of potassium is very less. But if you see our neurotransmitters, they both have sodium and potassium, and maintenance of sodium potassium ratio is very important. So we should try to consume potassium rich foods. Banana is one example of food which is high in potassium. So garlic is also high in potassium. तो हम लोग खाते ही हैं garlic, but otherwise consumption of garlic, those who don't consume because of some religious issues. So I think they should also think of uh, incorporating garlic in diet. Then we have grapefruits. Grapefruit, you will say that ये तो मीठा है कि क्यों खाना है? But grapefruit, they are superfoods because they have lot of antioxidant compounds that are very important for our body. खासकर more dark colored fruit like berries or grapes, which are very dark in color, they have anthocyanins, which are very good for our body. Then amla, importance of amla is well known to all of us. So amla juice, if it is mixed with some other juices, it can also prevent elevation of blood sugar levels. Vinegar is also found beneficial. Those foods which are rich in vitamin C, they should be consumed because not only they prevent the health prevention of diabetes, they also boost our immune system. I still remember during COVID COVID era, so doctor prescribes lot of vitamin C and zinc tablets. So vitamin C, why to take it from in the form of tablets? Why not consuming vitamin C rich foods? और आजकल तो वैसे भी we have lot of किन्नूस in our because किन्नू season इसका गलत आ गया आजकल. So we have lots of kinnus. So they are also rich in vitamin C. So let's consume food which is high in vitamins. Cinnamon. Uh, this is also uh, this also have seen in reversing, insulin resistance. So those with type 2 diabetes, uh, उसमें थोड़ा इसका we can see some beneficial effects of cinnamon. So cinnamon can be incorporated in our diet. So we consume cinnamon, but also we can what we can do is we can boil cinnamon and we can consume it in the form of beverage. So it will definitely be helpful. Neem components. So they also neem tablets are available in the market. So they are also beneficial for diabetes. Aloe vera, uh, very good, uh, very good. For very effective for lowering blood glucose levels. So it has lot of hyperglycemic effects. French beans, yeah, we consume this, so more should be consumed because they also have been found beneficial in the treatment of disease. We should also consume fruits like apples and what I have shown you. One question may be in your mind because I am stressing upon reduction of sugar levels and again recommending fruits to you. But I tell you because fruits they don't only have sugars, but they are very rich in fibers and antioxidants and other components which are health promoting. So if you incorporate some fruits in your diet, definitely. I'm not saying that you totally replace food with fruits, but I'm recommending it that you should incorporate some fruits in your diet. Yeah, another. Yeah, this slide shows you, how this ahar, vihar, and medicine they are important for prevention, management, and cure of the disease. Another disease which I just want to talk about is cancer. So this is also we see a very prevalent, a very dreadful disease, and if we come across a person who is recently diagnosed with cancer, we believe sometimes depending on stage, like it's a death sentence. So food is also very important for prevention of some types of cancers. So colon cancer is uh, one of the issue. Why I have taken this along with diabetes is because I stressed upon eating uh, that fraction of food which is not digested in our small intestine. Because if it is not digested in our small intestine, it will not elevate glucose levels. And if it is not elevating glucose levels, blood glucose will not raise, and indirectly don't have the requirement for large amount of insulin. The sugars, diabetes is managed as well as that fraction which is going into large intestine. It becomes food for microflora there, and I will just show you how it is working. So this slide shows you that we have microorganisms everywhere residing in our body. So you see stomach, we have Helicobacter pylori. In our small intestines, we have some bacteria, lactobacilli, gram-positive cocci. But majority of microorganisms they are residing in a large intestine. You see 10 to about 12 per gram. I have infused like bacteriocytes, bifidobacteria, lactobacilli, and they are very important because since humans they came into existence, These are residing in our body since that time. So they have a very symbiotic relation with us. So आपको पता ही है, whenever you have loose motions, doctor recommend you some tablets to replenish these microorganisms, and these are very uh, very health beneficial for us. So these are sites of our large intestines, and how these carbohydrates they are uh, fermented by microorganisms. So resistant carbohydrate, it is consumed by bacteria residing in large intestine, and primary metabolites which is produced is short chain fatty acids, primarily acetates, butyrates, and propiolates. So these are very important for uh, health beneficial effects. Yeah. So the colonies of bacteria, they they act upon this, and these carbohydrate resistant carbohydrates, they reduces uh, intestine pathogenic levels, that they selectively uh, promotes those colonies of microorganisms which have health beneficial effects. It reduces the symptoms of diarrhea, and the condition if we have excess loss of fluids from our body, or if we feel like condition of dehydration. So stool weight is increased. Yeah, those suffering from constipations, so they should try to incorporate more fibers in their diet, and that definitely will be helpful to them. Importance of calcium and magnesium is well understood by all of us, and majority of our population, they have bone brittleness over the ages, because the bone density will definitely decreases over the ages, and we need to increase calcium and magnesium in our body. So osteoporotic conditions is one of issue, and if you visit any orthopedic doctor, majority of population above 50, they are suffering from kind of bone density issues. So if we have more resistant carbohydrate content, this calcium and magnesium absorption from our intestine increased amount is have been seen. Immune system is definitely stimulated. You might have heard that your immunity is good if your large intestine is working properly. So more better is is the environment of large intestine, the better is the immune system of the body. And I have told you that the risk of colon cancer is decreased if you have a very good amount of resistant carbohydrate content. So this was all about my one presentation. So I would like to take up any queries, if any. Yeah, I also need to show my another presentation, but I can take quick queries in 4 5 minutes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm Simarpreet. ਸਰ ਮੈਂ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਡਾਇਬਟੀਜ਼ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਲਾਈਕ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਿਮਸ ਇੱਕ ਡੇਰਾਬੱਸੀ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਰੀਲਸ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਔਰ ਚ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਸ਼ੂਗਰ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੰਬ ਖਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚੀਕੂ ਖਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਓਕੇ?
हाँ जी मैम, मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ।
ਜੀ
I'll speak in Hindi because I believe कुछ ऑडियंस हिंदी के भी होंगे।
जी
सो
जी
मैंने आपको बताया था कि जैसे जो फ्रूट है उसमें अकेला ही शुगर नहीं है, तो
हम्म।
उसमें और बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स हैं, जैसे उसमें फाइबर है, फाइबर बहुत अच्छा होता है फ्रूट्स में।
हम्म
अपार्ट फ्रॉम फाइबर उसमें खूब सारे एंटीऑक्सीडेंट कंपाउंड होते हैं।
हम्म।
तो इन जनरल वो सभी हेल्थ के लिए बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। आपको शुगर वो अवॉइड करनी है जो रिफाइंड शुगर हो,
ठीक है।
उसको अवॉइड करना है।
जी
जो
जी जी।
एज सच किसी फ्रूट में शुगर है या किसी फूड में शुगर है, उससे बॉडी को कोई बेनिफिट ही है, हार्म नहीं है।
ठीक है।
सर एक
थैंक यू सर।
जूस, सर जूस बेटर है या फ्रूट?
डेफिनेटली फ्रूट बेटर है जी,
ओके।
बिकॉज वो फाइबर साथ में लेके आ रहे हैं। आपको जितना फूड को आप रिफाइन करोगे, रिफाइन मीन्स उसको जितना ही आप उसको प्यूरिफाई करते रहोगे, जैसे आप गेहूं लेके आते हो, तो जो गेहूं है उससे आप अगर होल व्हीट लेके आ रहे हो, जैसे आटा चक्की से लेके आ रहे हो होल व्हीट फ्लावर, अगर आप उसको छान रहे हो, उसमें से ब्रांड रिमूव कर रहे हो, उसको रिफाइन कर रहे हो, तो डेफिनेटली उसका बेनिफिट हो, उसका उतना बेनिफिट नहीं है, मैदा खाने को बेनिफिट नहीं है।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
तो shall I take my another PPT in few minutes? हाँ जी डॉक्टर साहब, डॉक्टर
Of course,
अमनदीप।
sir. Of course, sir. It may be
ओके,
informative for all of us.
गिव मी 2 minutes सर।
Yeah, please.
हेलो,
हाँ जी सर, हाँ जी।
कैन यू सी द स्लाइड?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
ओके, सो recent in the field of food technology. Can you see my slides moving?
जी सर।
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll just show you some innovations in the field of food technology. So, Dr. Amandeep, how much time I have now? Yeah, Dr. Amandeep, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I believe I have 15-20 minutes still.
हाँ जी।
So, recent innovations. I'll show you some of innovations now in the field of food technology. So, nano sensors, you all might have heard. You know, how they work is, so we package some fruit or some food, and nano sensors, they are placed on the surface of uh, this package, and depending on the conditions which are prevailing inside the package, the color of sensor it changes. So I've just shown you that if that color appears, that means food is not fit for consumption. So consumer, they'll have just look on the package, and if sensor color is red, so that means not to consume this food. So quite helpful for consumer. So it also indicate toxin guides, because some canned foods, they have some toxins deadly microorganism like Clostridium botulinum. Is highly toxic microorganism, and it also indicates their presence in the package. So detection of pathogenic bacteria, so temperature indicator, so how much gas concentration is there. So it will sense all these, oxygen concentration, gas concentration. So this the work is going on in this direction. Then we have conventional methods that you might have heard, like pasteurization. You might have heard about pasteurized milk. जो आपके the milk which is supplied by Yerka or similar milk plants. So pasteurization is term, sterilization is term, one term. Those having this science background or microbiology, they might have heard about sterilization. Then we have canning, cold preservation. Cold preservation, you have refrigerators at your home. This is one example of cold preservation. But these methods, they do have lots of drawbacks. I don't have much time, otherwise I would have emphasized on various drawbacks of using these techniques. Because when you heat food for longer duration, many compounds, they are destroyed, like vitamins, like antioxidants or heat sensitive compounds. They are primarily degraded. So now we have different methods which not only preserve these compounds, but rather they are very revolutionary kinds of preservation methods. One important is high pressure processing. So we destroy microorganisms by putting a very high pressure. And I caution you that this pressure is so much high that deep inside the oceans you will find pressure less than what we use in this high pressure equipment. So we place food in uh, these containers. Food is packaged first, placed in these containers, and these containers move inside this high pressure processing vessel. These doors are closed. Then we supply water inside, and then a very high pressure is provided. And microorganisms, they are not very resistant to very high pressure, and they are destroyed. So food don't have any kind of uh, deterioration effect as far as components are concerned. So we have a very food that is very rich in vitamins, very rich in antioxidants, and very rich in other components that are very good for our health. So this is a very revolutionary technique. So in coming years, you will find food which is high pressure processed, maybe expensive because this technique is very new and bit expensive. So shelf life can be extended up to 10 times. So it is cold pressurization, no effect on quality. So pressure of 300 to 600 megapascals it is used in activation of microorganisms. So when we combine this high pressure and very high temperature, it is very beneficial because we don't require any chemical preservatives to be added, or we're not irradiating any food. Another technique that I just want to discuss is pulse electric field. So you can see food moving, and we are imparting electrical pulses. So what we do is we apply short pulses of high electric fields, and for very short duration of time, about few milliseconds. Intensity of electric field is 10 to 80 kilovolt per centimeter, and in this process, microorganisms, they are destroyed. So a very good technique for improving the physical properties of food material, and we are not destroying any antioxidant compounds or any compounds which are heat sensitive. So this is also very innovative technique. microwave oven. Food irradiation is also one technique. It is very common in European countries, but very less common in India. But I tell you that we have two plants in India, like one plant at Nasik, which is using food irradiation for improving the shelf life of potatoes and onions. And the dosage is just to inhibit tubers from these potatoes and onions. So in European countries or America, we these this irradiation technique is used for variety of food materials like meat, like seafoods, and almost all kinds of food materials we are irradiating. But the problem is that if high dosage of irradiation it is provided to food, sometimes food may become radioactive, and if that kind of food is consumed, it may be responsible for potential cancer causing in humans. But once precisely controlled, this is a very good technique. And those in India especially, because we have power crisis, so irradiating food and is a very good mode for food preservation. We find difficulty in tuber formation in potatoes and onions, and once irradiated, this problem of tuber formation can't be. Just I've told you about low dose application in sprouts and tubers, delay ripening in fruits, so insect disinfections. So medium dose is applied for meat, fish, fruits, vegetable, and elimination of pathogens. So high dose is applied when we go for sterilization of packaged food materials. Then we have hurdle technology. It's a combination of different techniques like temperature, acidity, water activity, preservatives in order to have a good quality food. So I have just named about few hurdles, physical hurdles and chemical hurdles. This is an automatic grading system. It will eliminate uh, manpower required for our industrial operations. One very interesting technique that I want to discuss is 3D printed foods. And I'm telling you that just like you have microwaves at your in your kitchen, so in coming years you will have 3D printers in your kitchen, and you can print different kinds of foods. You know, you can print any animal. You can print even your face or your you know uh, different kinds of images, because it is software controlled, and you just need to control the texture of slurry, and it will automatically print. So this food will be the revolution in years to come. Another important is 3D printed vegan meat. So vegan vegan meat is because uh, we have one is vegan meat and one is lab grown meat. So this is vegan meat is also becoming very common, because this vegan meat is having all plant based, uh, they are plant based, but their texture is similar to meat. So we control uh, uh, different food materials and their composition, and then we print meat and texture appearance similar to meat, and but it is made from plant sources. Then we have lab grown meat, because livestock, we are not able to match the livestock with increasing population, and also they are contributing a lot to greenhouse gas emission effects. So what we do, what scientists they are now doing is they are growing stem cells that is harvested from dodo livestock, and they are then culturing those in the laboratory for several weeks, and this will result in formation of lab grown meat. And recently, I have seen one. I think Japan is a country where they have grown this lab grown wheat in an industrial scale. So very soon you will find more such companies uh, growing this lab grown wheats. This is 4D pasta. So this pasta will not have any kind of structure in the package, but when you open the package and when it is coming when it comes in contact with air, so it will make different structures. So this is also one revolution. People are working on this 4D printing printed pasta as well as other food materials. One very interesting is insect based foods. So because I've told you that the livestock production is we're not able to match this livestock production, and in order to have environmental sustainability, and insects they have high more in they are more in protein content as compared to animals or of livestocks. They have more nutritious compounds like vitamins and calcium. So now they are becoming some companies they are making insect based foods like I've shown you this cricket pasta. So insects they are consumed in by some Asian countries as well as northeast people, but now because they are rich in monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids, rich in magnesium, copper, iron, zinc, and some scientists they are predicting this insects as a future food. So you will find burgers with patties made from insects in future. So they are also becoming lot of work is going on this insect-based foods. So we'll have variety of insects like silkworm, beetles, grasshoppers. So they will be our food in future. Then we have personalized nutrition or nutrigenomics. So your genes will be studied and what kind of foods you should eat that will be recommended. So based on so that will be helpful in prevention of disease like diabetes and cancers in future. So you will have your genes screened, and scientists they will advise you, what kind of food you should eat or what you should avoid. Very soon, this chefs will be replaced by robo chefs. Some trials they are going on, and they will be replicating your dishes in exactly same you will have same taste, and once you feed the software in this robo chefs. Then nutraceuticals, you might have heard about these nutraceuticals. We know about lycopene tablets, we know about zinc tablets. So this various in COVID era, these nutraceuticals becomes very famous. Lot of products have been launched by Patanjali, which are nutraceuticals in nature. So just to address one issue, toxic smog. So uh, we have these stubble issues. So they are they can be made into husk utensils. Few companies they are in this business now. So we can have edible cutlery and plates. So they are made from millets and some other crops. So we don't need to throw these cutleries. Rather we eat these cutleries along with food. So they are edible in nature, edible cutleries and plates. So stubble they can be made into bricks, and people are working on conversion of cellulose into glucose, because cellulose is also having very similar structure as glucose. Only difference is glucose the starch is having alpha 1,4 linkage, whereas cellulose is having beta linkage. So once this beta linkage is broken down in lab scale level or industrial scale level, this cellulose can be easily converted into glucose. and then it can become our food, or it can become, you know, can be beneficial for industrial uh, utilization for making alcoholic beverages. One issue with this stubble is it is having high silica level that needs to be addressed. So Israel is one country which is very innovating as far as farming is concerned. Just to show you some pictures. So we have issues in our state, primarily this water pollution, soil salinity, diversification, so heavy loads of insecticides and pesticides. That is a topic. I don't have much time to stress upon these. Just to tell you about global hunger indices, India's situation is very, very poor and alarming as far as this global hunger index is concerned. So India is, ranked about 94 out of 107 countries with very high global hunger index scores. What I need to tell you is that uh, we are wasting huge food, and uh, India grows more food, wastes more, while more grow hungry. So what wastage we are doing in cereals is about 4.6.5% to 5 6%, pulses 6 to 8%, oilseeds 3 to 9%, fruits vegetables 4 to 15%, milk less than 1%, meat about 3%, poultry 7%. So we need to reduce this wastage by more and more, this food processing, and what we need to work on is lack of. We need to strengthen our cold storages. This more should be spent on GDP, on agriculture GDP. Right now, we are just spending about 0.6%. So need to work on that is at the part of government. Thank you very much. I think Dr. Amandeep, I'm well in time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Report here to thank the report source person.
Yeah, any question
Lot of thanks.
for what I presented?
Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Can you, sir? First of all, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am.
Sir, can you please suggest fruits specifically, which we should avoid if one has a diabetes?
Ma'am, I think you should
Fruits.
not avoid any fruit because
Okay.
you're not consuming fruit in a very large amount.
Okay,
Rather,
sir.
all kind of seasonal fruit should be consumed in our diet.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, with this, I thank all the participants for a very patient listening, and particularly I thank Dr. Amandeep for inviting me for the talk. Uh, Sincerely, I thank all of you. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir. The
sir.
session was very informative and useful as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and you can have my number from Dr. Amandeep in case any query. All are welcome.
That's so nice of you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ji. Dr. Amandeep, shall I leave?
Definitely, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thanks a
okay.
lot.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. Can we have a screenshot with the respected resource person? Aman, sir, can we have, with your permission, can we have a screenshot? I request all the participants
Please,
to
please,
kindly
please.
on your cameras so that we can have a photograph with respected resource person of the day. I request all the participants to kindly switch on their cameras. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we will meet at 12. Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.